There's a basic change going on with the younger generation that is strange to older people. There's a change in the way you define freedom, in the way you define power, and the way you define community. And these changes really suggest a real revolution. For my generation and generations before me, freedom was very simple. To be free is to be an autonomous agent, to be self-sufficient, to be independent, to be not beholden to others, to be an island to oneself, and so that one can enjoy freedom as exclusivity. For the younger generation that grew up on the internet, autonomy is death. Being an island to oneself is death. Because for your generation, you ask the question, how can I flourish to the full extent of my possibilities here on the planet? And it is clear that your answer to that is, I flourish to the extent that I'm embedded in a community after community where I can share my talents and those talents can benefit the network and come back to benefit myself. I am free because I have access. And for the younger generation, freedom is not exclusivity, it's inclusivity. The younger generation has a different sensibility about power, which makes the older generation very nervous. We essentially have believed that power always has to be a pyramid. It goes from the top down. That is power. There's no other way to define power. It's a pyramid. But the young people that grew up on the internet, it's strange because you grew up thinking the power has to do with the networks you're engaged in. For you, power is not vertical, it's lateral. For you, power is being enmeshed in network after network where you benefit all. Open source. And finally, I think most importantly, we are seeing a change in the way our younger generation perceives identity to community. I grew up in a nation state where we were very clear on community. That is, each individual is born to be an autonomous agent. And we are each sovereign, and each of us compete with each sovereign individual in the marketplace for scarce resources in a zero-sum game. Our nation represents us because they are our sovereigns, and they represent the millions of individual citizens who are sovereigns against other nations. And each nation then competes with every other nation for scarce resources in the marketplace or in the battlefield in a zero-sum game. Here's my question. Does anyone here believe that we are going to be able to address climate change and bring the human family together and take our responsibility for our other fellow creatures and the earth we live in with that worldview? Anybody?